Magic the Gathering is a game with many formats. As someone who enjoys the competitive side of Eternal formats, I'm used to playing with the same rules, but with different cards. Recently, a fan asked me if he could sponsor a full video to evaluate a new format concept that instead of just changing the card pool of legal cards, we change some of the fundamental rules of the game. I also want to say this sponsorship was very generous, so I'm a bit skeptical if it's actually not a fan, but somebody else. So full disclosure, I'm paid for making this video and I'm not involved in the making of this format. This new format is called Spellbook. The cards that you're allowed to play in this set is standard sets from Kaladesh and onwards to try and reduce the amount of combos available in the format. But the three main rule changes that will shake up things is that a playset in this format is 3 copies of a card and not 4. Your deck has to be 40 cards with no more or no less cards, and instead of starting with 7 cards in hand, you start with your whole library in your hand. A part of my job in this sponsored video is to evaluate the pros and cons of this format and ask you all for public feedback in the comments section. So to start my evaluation, Magic is a game compared with poker and chess, and it's a bit in the middle. But if you make it so that every player has access to every card in their deck, then it's more lean towards a chess style deck than poker, as there's literally no luck. The only skill will be in building your deck and the decisions you make in your game. Spellbook is a format where you will always have it, but so will your opponent. Mana Flood and Mana Screw will also be void, and decks will only have to play up to 5 lands, as you will 100% of the time have your mana in your hand. The main advantage of this format is what I said, everyone will get to do what they want to do, but I am concerned about the degeneracy of the format. The cons of this format can get pretty interesting. Mox Amber and Thassa's Oracle are an initial huge problem. As of now, Mox Amber is restricted and is the only restricted card, meaning that you can only play 1 copy in your deck, but I already have a concept that would break this format. Turn 1 you can play Mox Amber, Tormod's Crypt and cast Emery for 1 mana. Then with both Spell Pierce, Unsummon and Mystical Dispute in your hand, you'll have the answer for whatever your opponent may play on their turn 1. Then, after they pass back the turn, you can play your land for turn, cast Thassa's Oracle with both Spell Pierce and Mystical Dispute as a backup win condition. The con of this format is that the best deck in this format will always be the best deck. There will be a combination of cards every ban wave that will be the fastest way to kill your opponent with the most amount of disruption. From my initial glance, I would assume that a combo deck is always going to be the best decision, because not only will you always have your combo in your opening hand, but disruption to prevent your opponent from preventing your combo. I think if I was the designer of this format and wanted a 40 card starting hand with no library, I would make it singleton. This means you can only play 1 copy of any card. This means a card like Thoughtseize would actually matter, and then players can't just load their deck with the next best card after a combo is banned. As a combo fan myself, I could see myself enjoying this format with some slight tweaks, but as of now there seems to be some balancing issues and there needs to be a revision to the ban list of just Mox Amber. What do you think? Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section down below. Could you see yourself playing the Spellbook format?